Modern life is really good at keeping us awake. Sometimes the lights go out and the mind goes on. Maybe your social feed is keeping you up, or tomorrow's to-do list. Your partner, your roommate, or your neighbor. But Sleep by Headspace makes room for sleep to find you. No matter what's going on in your bedtime mind, you'll find something to soothe it. Whether that's dreamy sleep music, relaxing nature sounds, immersive sleepcasts that tell a new story every night, or quick mental exercises for winding down. Whatever kind of mind you've got, put your mind to bed with Sleep by Headspace.
So just lying down, we're going to focus the attention on the different parts of the body, watching as they switch off for the night, starting down at the feet, muscles in the toes and the arches switching off, the legs, any tension just dissolving as the calves and thighs power down. The muscles in the lower back and the stomach switching off. Now the chest and upper back switching off. The shoulders, the arms, the hands and fingers just switching off. The face, the eyes, the mouth, any tension just melting away as the muscles switch off, shut down, at rest for the night.
Night falls like a blanket over Sleeper Mountain. Shadows pour down its slopes, catching and pooling beyond the boulders and trees, and gathering in ravines and gullies. As the sun sets beyond the far ridge, you can see how the mountain got its name. Seen in silhouette, the ridge across from us looks like the profile of a sleeping man. You can make out the sharp point of his nose, the round peak of his chin against the bright clouds, picked out against the sky by the setting sun. It's as though some giant chose this place to rest his body and slept until in time he was grown over with trees and grass, drowsing here for all eternity. The mountain is cloaked in a stately quiet, as if the world were mindful of the mountain's name and had chosen not to wake it. There are cars on the highway down by the ocean, just the other side of the ridge, in fact, and yet no sounds of traffic penetrate this canyon's quiet. It's quiet, but not silent. If you listen carefully, you can hear the creak of the wind in the trees and the click and crack of twigs in the stove out here on our deck. The cicadas and the owls and other nighttime animals. From here, on the deck of our cabin, which juts over the hillside like the prow of a ship, we have a great view. There's a little flag at the edge of the deck, and it lifts gently in the breeze, its rope and pulley clinking against its pole. The breeze is cool and soft, like a well-washed sheet. Night falls, and the lights come on in the 2 or 3 houses dotted on the mountain's flank. The stars, too, reveal themselves gradually. There is none of the rush of city life. Things happen here at their own pace. There's a kind of slow dignity to it all. It's a great place to enjoy the sights and sounds, to rest at the end of a busy day. Who is that hooting out there in the gathering dark? Who? An owl. In fact, if you listen carefully, you'll soon realize that there are 2 of them, calling back and forth between the top branches of the fir trees. Their coo is a single note, and yet it's not a simple sound. It has a kind of hollowness. If you wanted to mimic it, you would have to form your mouth to a perfect O, and yet it has a kind of fullness too. It seems like a sad sound, and yet clearly these 2 are calling back and forth exuberantly. Maybe it's just that we hear the owls call at night, so we associate it with that lonely feeling of waking up in the night. But really, who knows if owls get lonely? Who knows how the nighttime looks to the owl? With his great big eyes, he can see perfectly well, and his hearing is excellent. To him, the nighttime is vivid and full of life. Not lonely, quite the opposite, in fact. Are they arguing? Are they courting? Wooing each other with their twit-wooing? Or are they simply singing, enjoying the sound of their own hooting? It's a rich, round sound, a chocolatey coo. If you could make a noise like that, wouldn't you? For an owl, it's the day that doesn't make sense. It's too bright, too noisy, too much overall. When the dawn breaks, he retreats from the light to his home in a hollowed-out tree, closes his eyes, tucks his beak into his chest, and sleeps among the twigs, feathers, and lint of his nest. The crickets here call all night long. They're small, but loud for their size. If you ever catch one inside, they're shiny and all over black. They make their noise by rubbing their legs against the sides of their bodies. It's a special gift they have. The crickets are sensitive to movements around them. If you walk by, they'll see you and stop, but then start again the moment they think you're past. There's something almost comical about it, like someone trying to secretly play the violin. It's like the whole landscape is an orchestra. the sound emanating from the dark boulders and trees. The crickets are the string section, and the owls with their hooting are the woodwind. It's a lovely composition, unpredictable, with a rhythm all of its own. The crickets don't live long, but they make the most of every moment that they're given. They use their singular gift for noise making. I think there's a lesson in that for all of us, don't you? The sky above us is filled with stars. On a clear night like this, there are too many to count. It almost takes your breath away to think that there could be space for so many, and each one as big or bigger than the star we call our sun. The stars have their own language. Just like letters form words, the stars form constellations. Or is that just how we have understood their meaning? A meaning too vast for us otherwise? We have to frame them at a human scale, seeing here a bear, here a man, here a harp or a swan. Over our heads is Orion, the hunter. The constellation is recognizable for the band of 3 stars that form his belt.